Hello, and welcome once again to the Booming Boomer podcast, where we showcase individuals who are doing amazing things with a view to inspiring those that are coming behind. My guest today is Mrs. Amal Hassan of Outsource Global, who is doing so many things that are amazing, but I would like her to tell you herself what she actually does. So, Mrs. Amal, can you introduce yourself to our audience and let us know what you're actually into?
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Amal Hassan, like you mentioned. I'm the founder and CEO of Outsource Global. Outsource is a business process outsourcing company. We provide technology-enabled services for companies in the US, UK, Japan, and Middle East, and other destinations, Europe as well.
You must know that today I'm super excited to have you in our studio because I've heard so much about you. As a baby boomer myself, the professions I'm familiar with, because as we were growing up, those were the professions that we tended to choose, like doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect. But now you're talking about outsourcing this, whatever. So I want to ask you, what actually is your generation? I would ask you your age because a lady it's not polite to ask a lady her actual age. But
I'm just the generation before the millennium.
Okay, that's Generation X. Fantastic. That's nice to hear. So we'll start by you telling us how you came about this journey.
Okay.
What started you off in this, I would still say, unusual profession, especially for a woman?
Yeah. So thank you very much for that question. I started my career with an IT training center. Right out of college, my first career start is an IT training center in Kaduna, which we started. And we trained a lot of IT professionals from MCSE to Oracle to CompTIA to Linux. After some time, I realized that we are not doing anything for them. They come in, they get trained in various IT courses, big courses, and they go back into the market without a job. And I started researching on what I could do to create employment. It took me 8 years to start Outsource. I stumbled on BPO as part of my research because I was dealing with a lot of Indians at the time. I realized that business process outsourcing creates millions of jobs to Indians. And when I looked at the parameter for providing this kind of services, I realized that we have what it takes in Nigeria. We have better time zones than India. We have people with very good accents. We have a lot of educated workforce. Nigeria today graduates 1 million graduates every year with different skill sets, right? And they can provide services not just for Nigerian companies, but international companies from Nigeria. So just to step back, what is business process outsourcing? Companies in the international market outsource a segment of their business so that they can concentrate on their core business just to reduce costs and increase revenue. So from customer service to telemarketing to accounting as a service to legal as a service. So what they do is they outsource the first entry jobs and now even high-end jobs, and then they concentrate on their core business, which allows them to reduce a lot of costs and increase revenue. So today we have lawyers that work for the US market. We have accountants that work for the US market. We have software engineers. We have medical people with medical expertise, that is healthcare services. We have other IT services. We provide a lot of services.
That's fantastic, really.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that your motivation for starting this business was not to make money. It was to provide jobs, employment for our people.
Yes.
That is very, very commendable, because a lot of people start businesses to make money. But I think if you start with, it's good to make money.
Yeah,
it's good to make money, but it's also good to start doing something to give back to the society, because we all have to be thankful. Yes.
Thank you. I think that's really very important. A lot of business people that you see start businesses to add value. If you concentrate on the value creation, then at the end of the day, you will still make the money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the value we're trying to create is to create employment, meaningful employment. And during the, in the process of doing that, a lot of people that graduate in Nigeria get up in Nigeria and work in the international market. They get trained on how to deliver services according to the international way of delivering services. So at the end of the day, we are transferring skill sets, we are creating the employment, we are transferring knowledge from our clients to those people.
And I believe that you've succeeded in that, because I understand you have how many people in your employment?
So right now we have 2,700 people.
Wow.
Across Nigeria. We have 4 centers in Nigeria. We have Abuja, which is our headquarters. We have Kaduna, which is our second biggest center. And we have Gombe, and then we have Lagos. Lagos is just a small center. It's a satellite office. But we now have Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow, very, very impressive, really.
Yeah.
So having said that, I would like to know, how do you engage these people? What's the process?
So the engagement is in two folds. For the international clients, we have different partners that are helping us grow the business. We have different partners for different service line. We have a partner in New York, we have a partner in Houston, we have a partner in San Francisco that are actively working with us to try and sell the services we provide to different clients. Every company that you can think may require our service, right? From customer service to people in the accounting department, to admin service and HR, to legal services. So we sell to almost every company you can think of, because these services, they require people to work in their organization, and now there is no barrier or geography to delivering a job
these
or
days,
to being employed. If you go to the US today, majority of the people work from home. So why not work from Nigeria?
Exactly.
So what we do is we provide the enabling environment, or we provide the kind of environment that they work in. So right from day one of the business, we created a long-term plan where we will compete very well with India. So from the way we are set up, to the sitting arrangement, to the technology, to the processes that we're putting in place to deliver according to international standard. And we've been delivering very well. We started with just 10 people, customer service for an American client. And how I got that American client is also a very long story.
For clients, especially those abroad, how do they know about you?
Okay,
How did they get to know about your outfit and engage you?
Yes, so it started with the first client. So I told you that it took me 8 years to start the company, and I started it 4 times and failed. Started in Kano, failed, got to Kaduna, started all over again, failed, got to Abuja. So the 4th time was the charm. So after starting the 4th time, we were set up according to international standard. We got an American company to draw up the plan on how to really set up the company in a way that we will be able to compete with India and Philippines at the time. And even after setting up according to international standard, I realized that I have no idea how to go to the US and convince an American client to give me business. So as I was thinking about that, I got connected with somebody in Johns Hopkins University that created a program in Johns Hopkins University, and I was able to go and present business process outsourcing as a way of as a way of economic empowerment, for northern Nigeria. And when I presented the company, I presented the video, I presented how we're set up, and I spoke to the alumni of the university hall, and one of the alumni of the university got up and said, if you can come with me to San Francisco, I will introduce you to a lot of people. And I asked him, when can we go? So we left. He gave me his address in San Francisco, and I went to San Francisco 2 days later. I had no idea there was a time difference between DC and San Francisco. But I went to him, and he introduced me to a lot of companies, and that's what he promised. Until each one of them was telling me the same thing. You are not experienced. We don't know Nigeria as an outsourcing destination. We know India and we know Philippines. We don't know Nigeria. So how can we move operations from well-known outsourcing destinations? You in Nigeria, and you've never done this before. Yes, you're set up according to international standard. You have all these experts that you've employed to be able to help deliver the service very well, but you've never done this before. So it's too risky. Until I got to the 14th or 15th person. Wow. And I told him all the things that the 14 people told me. I know I'm inexperienced. I know that we've never done this before, but just give me 10 customer service seats. I will do it free of charge for 3 months. If you don't like it, you walk away. And he said, fine, let's do that. Assistance. Yes, yeah. And we went live. So I came back to Nigeria, got people with American accent, so that we would really show that our accent is good, much better than what India and Philippines is given. And we went live with that client. Today, that client has over 500 people with us. Fantastic. Grown from 10 people to. Wow. And we're able to show that we've delivered to other clients, and we're able to showcase that as a track record. Anyway, first of all, I have to say that you must have a very supportive husband and a trusting one at that. So can you tell us a little bit about your husband? Yes, I do. And you can see that again so many times. I got married at a very young age, right in my first year of college. So you can say the support even started way before outsourcing. By college, you mean university? University, I'm dealing with. You're not American. Yes, I should. I know. So when I say university outside the country, they always ask me what, and I have to explain what. So when I was in my first year university, I got married. I had my baby that same year. So this is to show you how supportive throughout my university life. I was married, so I always tell people I've been married all my life. And he has supported me through university. He was the one that kept asking me after I finished university, what do you want to do with your life? I wanted to study medicine in university, but when I applied to BUK, Bayero University College, they didn't give me medicine. They gave me business admin. So by the time I finished university, I have 2 kids, my girl and a boy, and I had no idea what to do with my life because that wasn't the plan. And since I was married, I was comfortable. I didn't think of anything else until he came to me one day and he said, what do you want to do? So I kept saying, I don't know. Then one time he employed somebody to teach me basic computing skills. Oh, really? Yes. And That's how I fell in love with computer. So when I did basic computer skills, he employed our neighbor's son, who is an Indian, to teach me basic computing skills. And he bought a computer.
So, Amal's husband, if you are listening to this, I will want to appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes, on behalf of Amal and all the other ladies that need supportive husbands, you've done very well. So, the second thing I want you to elaborate on, because you mentioned it, but you just glossed over it, but I think it's very important. The challenges you met on this journey. Because many people, when they see successful people, they tend to think that it was so easy for them. But I know that that may not be the case, because you have to be focused, you have to believe in yourself, and there will certainly be some failures along the way. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, there are a lot of failures right from the beginning to even go live. Took me a lot of failures before I was able to go live. The first time we set up in Kano, we had a lot of challenges with the building that we were given. At the end of the day, we had to leave the building, and we lost almost every setup structure that we put, because this is the kind of business that you have to know where you're setting up, and based on that you buy your equipment, you buy your networking, you buy everything. So because we were not able to go live in that building, we lost almost everything.
Wow.
Right? So I had to move to Kaduna.
How did that make you feel? You were not discouraged?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. So I moved to Kaduna because the investor at the time, I got the new investor, and the investor at the time said we should set up in Kaduna. And he has a building in Kaduna that we can use and set up. We got to almost 70% completion, which is almost the same level as where Kano was. And we had another problem. We couldn't agree to move with the investor. And I had to pack my bag again. Remember that I have, at the time that this business was set up, I have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
And 4 children. So I had to move my kids to Kaduna. I have to set up their schools, everything. And at the time, my husband is in Lagos, so he comes to Kaduna anyway. So I just moved to Kaduna, got them a new school, and we started all over again. We got to 70% completion, and we have a new problem, which is different from the one in Kano. So I had to pack my bag again, pack my kids, and move to Abuja, because the next investors will be in Abuja. And we got some other investors in Abuja, and we went live with that business. And each time I keep changing the name. It was Keep Source, then it became the Outsource company. So with the third one, we went live. At that time, we signed with an American client. We already have, and I moved from there and started all over. In all this time, we've not gone live. Right? And we went live, to cut the short story, long story short, we went live June 2016 with this American client. And this American client is still with us today. And what I discovered so many years later, that now we achieved, when we went live, from the first year, we achieved our 5-year plan, which was to get to 300 people from the first year. And we got to 300 people within the first, because that client moved all his operations from India and finished to us. So we got to that. We were exactly where we're supposed to be in terms of headcounts, in terms of where the business should be. So If you're patient, you will get there.
Yeah.
And the learnings that I've heard over a period of 8 years before we went live, the world became ready for a Nigeria as a provider.
Yeah. I know you do a lot of training for young people. Can you tell us about that? Because I remember when I went to your office, I saw some young people lining up to be interviewed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so for every we train for every vertical, right? Even before we launched an initiative, which I will talk about, is for us to be able to outsource people to the international market, you have to prepare them for that market. The first thing is when we recruit directly from university, they go through 7 different tests to be able to come into our system. These are tests that shows us they have what it takes to be trained. Not they have what it takes. No, they have what it takes to
The
be
aptitude.
trained. Then you go through a computer test, typing test, attention to details, time management. There are different tests that we take at that level.
It's important to be able to type.
It's important for you to be able to type.
Not with the one
fast.
finger,
Yes,
like
yes.
I do.
So then we do the work readiness training. And that work readiness training is basic customer service training, communication skills. How do you write to clients? How do you communicate? What are the do's and don'ts when you're working with an international partner or any partner? And then at every given time, we bring in people, and we have to have 700 people on our database ready to be employed. And that's what our HR team do. Completely always recruiting, always saving, always pushing people into a training. And then when we get a client that says we need so number of people, then they will have to go through what we call client specific training, which is how to serve that particular client.
So this training, you give it to them free of charge?
Yes, free of charge. There is no charges to it. Yeah. But now what we've done is to make the process easier for us to get the jobs. We launched an initiative where companies like ours, not just us, can actually tap into the database based on the learnings of Outsource. So right now we launched an initiative called Outsource to Nigeria Initiative, and together with the VP's office, and we are constantly training based on the verticals that the clients want.
So can you tell us what are your future goals?
So right now we are at 2,700, and we want to get by God's grace we want to get to 10,000 within the next 2 years.
10,000 employees
within the next 2 years.
Wow, that will be amazing.
Yes, amazing. And we have a plan that will take us there.
But is there any specific advice you'd like to give our young people?
Yes, I have a lot of advice I would like to give them. One is believe in yourself. I always say the God that made Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates is the same God that made me. That's right. And if he can get them to where they are, then he can get me to where I want to be. So you have to believe that you can be anything you want to be. You just have to put your mind to it and stay at it. And by God's grace, you will get there. So no matter how many people will tell you your idea, once you are able to see it through, they said if you can see it, you can do it. Yeah. This so you have to stand out, you have to deliver, but our focus has always been how do we create meaningful employment? Yeah. And it's not just about the employment, it has to be meaningful. There has to be growth for the people and the company, and also the companies that we work with. So you have to think outside the box. You can't just copy people. You have to make it your own.
Thank you very much for giving us part of your very, very busy time.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
So this brings us to the end of this episode. I'm sure you enjoyed it very much. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our other social media handles, which are displayed on the screen. Thank you. See you.